Welcome back to another exciting episode of Achieving Failure, the podcast where life meets nostalgia. This week we're doing a part 2 of the 40 versus 40 Talks with My Father. This week we're talking about life advice, planning out for a good future, retirement, traveling, the educational systems, and the pros and cons of going to college versus going to a trade school. Getting a job and how to actually handle and talk during a proper interview. Don't have time for the full episodes? You can now check out the highlight clips that we'll be uploading throughout the week. And while we are on all audio streaming platforms and YouTube, you can also check us out on Rumble, as we plan on doing some live episodes on that platform only. Make sure to hit that like, subscribe, and follow button, as we are still but a small channel. You can check out new episodes on Saturdays. Now sit back and relax as we strive to achieve success, or we fail in spectacular fashion. This is Achieving Failure Podcast. As someone who's in your, how old are you, early 90s?
Sage advice from a person who's been on the planet for 75 years.
So you're talking someone who's 75, I'm 40, and how, mind you, for me, I'm finally being able to catch up to the point where I'm like, okay, I would like to retire in 25 years. I need to start retiring now. There's people my age that don't even know how to retire, how to even invest anything. What's the first thing I even have to do regarding investments? Who do I talk to? What do I do? And I go, I mean, it's kind of scary. That's for one of my things that I'm going to say is, I blame the educational system for that too, because they did not help one bit in regards to investing for your future. So I talk to a lot of people and they have no idea how to invest anything. They have no idea about stocks or bonds. Some people know about crypto, but it's kind of scary that it's going to get to that point. They're going to be in their 60s and they're going to go, I can't retire. It's not fair. I blame somebody else.
So you want some sage advice? I wrote down a whole bunch of things here. This is really valuable. You could write a book on this. Take this to the bank. This is wise and sage advice, and it's absolutely 100% correct. Okay, there's nothing wrong here. Floss and brush like crazy every day. This is the top of the list. That's the first thing, right? The second thing is eat really healthy food 80% of the time. And the other 20% of the time, stuff your face with crap. Okay? Because if you do that, you will be healthy and you'll enjoy the hell out of life. Okay? But it's 80-20. Most people have it reversed. 80% of the time they eat shit, and 20% of the time they're annoyingly trying to do better, and it just doesn't work. Okay? That's the 80-20 rule. Works for everything, 80-20. Don't sweat the little stuff. Just don't do it. It's not worth it. It's so, most 90% of everything is little stuff. Don't sweat it. It's not important.
Now, I'm gonna interrupt you real quick. When you say don't sweat the little stuff, what do you mean? Because for me, when it comes to work, yeah, I get aggravated. I stress out. There's a lot of things that drive me absolutely nuts. But coming home and trying to cook a pizza, I'll have an existential crisis. So it's like it's almost flip-flopped. So I'm stressing the little things when the major stuff I'm just kind of, you kind of breeze by. So for you, when you say don't sweat the little things, what is the little things?
Maybe one of the hardest things to do. Okay? Because little things are what bug us and get us upset. Okay? So everything is a little thing. Everything. 100% of everything is the little stuff. There is nothing really important. Well, maybe there's an exception. The problem is trying to figure out what's really important. Okay? Now, is doing a really good job at work really important? It could be if it also embraces the fact that you're being true to yourself, that you're doing the best you can do and being the best that you can be. Even if you're not doing the perfect job at work, if you're doing the best you can do and being the best you can be, that effort is one of the top things you should be doing, and it should bother you if you're not doing it. That's not the little stuff. That's kind of the big stuff, right? Because that's really important about your entire life. Little stuff is when things go wrong, you just take it in stride. It doesn't matter. You shouldn't save aggravation and annoyance for the big stuff. Too many people get pissed off about everything all the time. And there's nothing like the power of positive thinking. People laugh at this. It was, written by Dale Carnegie years and years ago, but it's absolutely true. If you just keep positive about things, even when things are looking lousy, you can get over it. You can get on to the next thing. You can make almost anything negative into a positive, but most people don't like to do that because they don't want to be responsible. They want to say, well, shit happens, and it always happens to me, and yada, yada, and then let's have a drink, and then they get a car crash, and they just keep making things worse and worse. And yeah, I know, it hits home, doesn't it? So it's just, don't do that. Just don't worry about anything. It's not important. But take life seriously at the same time. There's the paradox. How do you do both of those things at the same time? What's important? There's only a few things that are really important. Being truthful and being true to yourself, okay? And flossing. You need to floss.
So the one thing I will say about the toothpaste is I didn't realize this, and my dentist actually broke it down to me. There is a gritness in the toothpaste or an abrasiveness, and not all toothpastes are the same. Now, the abrasiveness of the toothpaste is also, ironically, damaging the enamel in your teeth. Well, now what do? Well, there's a chart, and I could find it, I could put it if I got time. There's a chart of abrasiveness of what you should, all the way down to what you should not be using. And at that point, you might as well be gargling sandpaper. Well, then my question to my dentist is, well, why and how are they allowed to sell this as a toothpaste brand, ultra white, blah, 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 is the most harsh? He goes, because they can. Because they can, and you may buy it. Because you didn't do your homework. You may actually, toothpaste, they've been using it, you use toothpaste on your headlights to clean it. You get rid of that. That's probably what it's used for, but not for your teeth. So when you say brush your teeth, also do your homework about toothpaste abrasiveness, because I actually learned a lot.
I said floss.
And floss.
And brush your teeth. Now, the reason, this sounds so stupid, right? Floss, what? Come on, get out of here. The reason flossing is more important is because flossing stimulates your gums. Your gums are what keep your teeth healthy. There are tribes, and they have people, that they've tracked for years and years. They don't have any toothpaste in these tribes, but they have these pieces of wood that they, somehow has a bristle on the end. And those, amazingly so, they're very culturally lagging, but they brush their teeth with these little wooden little leaves or something. They have no cavities. None whatsoever. They don't gargle with a commodity product. They don't brush with a commodity product. But let's face it, America is about selling stuff. So we're going to sell you whatever you want, okay? And we're going to tell you have to use it like every 5 minutes or more, right? So we're our own worst enemies.
So I saw a nature video real quick on a TV, and it was actually kind of interesting because they were showing monkeys, and they would go picking people's hair, plucking their hair, but what they noticed is the monkeys were starting to use people's hair to floss their teeth. And they said it is the most... Now, mind you, flossing is so silly, you don't think of it, you just you floss. They said it is incredibly complex for someone who is not a human to grasp the concept of flossing.
I would think so. It's hard for me, and I'm a human.
So they said these monkeys were able to wrap it around their fingers and actually run it between their teeth to dislodge anything. So the moral of the story is, if a monkey can do it, you can do it.
That's pretty interesting. So I just want to being a positive human being is one of the best things you can do, and a positive human being enjoys life. Steve Jobs. I used to have a poster in my lab, my science lab, that said, "Love your job, Steve Jobs." Right? His name is Jobs, and he said, "Love your job," and he didn't mean love Steve. He meant love your job. And for a long time, I thought I knew what that meant. I thought it meant you should love the job you have. And it's not what it means. What it means is he wants you to love your job. And the distinction is that what you're involved with should be what you want to do. And at times, it's not going to be what you want to do. It's never perfect. But there's a way to love that job to make it what you want to do. You may be in a shitty job. Now you have two options. You can get the hell out, or you can modify what you're doing so that that job becomes a pleasure and a reward to you. And that's what he was talking about. He wasn't talking about being static and just moaning and groaning for the rest of your life until you got to get the hell out of here. He was saying you can change where you are, or you can change what exists where you are. So you can leave, find something else, which a lot of times is the best way to do it, or you can change what's around you. And a lot of times what's around you is exactly where you need to be at that moment. It takes a lot of thought and introspection, and you need to see what things are happening. It's not an easy one, but it is true, everything. And I realize I've been very fortunate in that I've gone through a series of jobs, and while I didn't love them at first, I created an environment where I made them important to me, and that they were rewarding. Not every day, but they were rewarding overall. I mean, I never really didn't want to go to work, okay? In fact, that's one of my things here. Never retire. Don't retire. Don't even use that word. Your life is not about retiring. Your life is about life, enjoying life, and then at some point dying, okay? Because I don't think we're going to get past that. Just do it. And now, retirement could be, I don't have to do something. I don't have to be here. I can be someplace else doing something. But you should be doing something. You should be doing something productive. And forgive me for saying, I don't think playing golf every frickin' day is productive. I think that you're on the vegetable table at that point, okay?
Well, I would say playing golf is at least a good form of exercise. You're out doing something. You can enjoy
golf, but when that's your only thing, you say, I retired so I could play golf. What else do you do? Nothing. Nothing. I get up late and I go play golf.
Yeah, but that's a lot better. I mean, I would much rather somebody play golf for the rest of their life because they're out, they're moving, they're doing stuff.
Then
you could say it's calisthenics instead of the guy who just sits there instead just stares at the wall and goes, "Well, this is my life now. Put me in a retirement home. I live here now, and I die."
We're talking about degrees of dying. Okay, to me, that's at the high end of dying. Okay, you've dedicated yourself to this. What I think is just a non-productive kind of thing.
Well, the rule was always...
that's just me.
The rule was always, as soon as you retire and you don't do anything, you die. Give you 4 years, you spent your whole goddamn life working. After 4 years of retiring, I'm going to sit here, I'm going to enjoy myself. I died.
Shit, I got 3 years left.
So I would much rather say, you know what, go out and play golf because you're moving, you're walking around, you're staying more active than the person that goes, well, I worked all the time, I want to sit and enjoy myself. Dead.
Okay. Then you may redefine that, if that's so important to you, you may redefine that as your job. What is your job? I'm a professional goof-off and golf player. Yeah.
I am a professional golf instructor.
Yeah.
Hey, today on this episode of Watch Me Play Golf for 5 hours a day.
Look, how many people I hit in the head with a golf ball. Yeah. Nobody's ever done that many.
We're going to beat that record this week. I mean, you can make a YouTube channel of it.
So I say never retire, and this one he doesn't like. Have a plan. He says he never has a plan. That's baloney.
I have a plan.
You have a plan. Your plan isn't the way I do plans, but he has a plan, and you.
I have a plan. You have an agenda.
No, an agenda is a subset of a plan. And an agenda is what we're doing the next day, hour, minute.
Yes, that's what you have, and right. I hate that because it never comes to fruition. It's always,
it always
now
does.
We're running late, so now the shit starts stacking.
Not for me.
My plan is go from here to here. We're going on vacation. When we get there, what do you want to do? Maybe we'll do this and this. You're like, no, at 5:05, we got to do this. And then at 7 o'clock we got to do this. And then we got dinner. It never works.
Right, you
that
don't
way.
like that detail.
Especially
I do.
the two,
That's
especially
fine.
between you and Mom. You guys are so late to everything. I always joke. I said you'll be
What?
late. You'll be late to your own funeral.
Well, that would be helpful. That
So-
would be helpful.
Oh shit! Hold on. I keep that casket open. I gotta hop in real quick. I'm running late again. So it's just, I feel having a plan and having an agenda.
The other thing that has become more clear to me as I go through the years is, I think it was built in early on. I was ignorant. I was naive about things, so I was able to accomplish things that I didn't realize I might not have been able to. And Orson Welles was famous actor, director, producer. He said the reason he was so successful in making a movie, the very first movie he ever made, was because he knew so little about making movies. He was given permission to make a movie based on his great ability to put on a show and a stage show. And they said, yeah, we're going to give you money and you can do whatever you want. And he broke all the rules and made one of the most incredible motion pictures ever. Problem? Made one of the most incredible motion pictures ever, freely admitting that had I known what not to do, I would have screwed it up. That's nice. So always challenge yourself. Always push to get to the next level. Don't be complacent. Don't say, well, this is good enough. Always say, well, could it be better? It might be. You might be in a perfect spot and say, fine, that's all right. And the last and only other thing is always fly in control. This is one thing that I've written down 100,000 times in my life. Whatever you're doing, make sure that you're in control of it. Okay? I learned this very simple thing from flying and how to get into a really tricky
When the airplane window falls out, make sure you
Well-
remain in control.
Well, absolutely. And I remember getting into a very difficult position, and the way out of it was literally to make the plane fly in control, whatever it took to do that. And in life, you really need to be in control. I mean, that doesn't mean you have to, detail every simple thing, but you need to be the one that is in control of your emotions and what goes on. The minute you give it away to somebody else, they'll take advantage of you. It's like the guy who's getting a ticket from the police officer, and he's ranting and raving and screaming and yelling. He's tearing up the ticket. The police officer's in there, totally in control. Says, thank you, sir. He writes him another ticket. He says, here's ticket number 2. He screaming and yelling, tears that up, throws it on the ground, and he writes him another one. And then he gets out of the car and he's jumping up and down like a monkey. And it's hysterical. I mean, but it happens. And those are the people that they complain. Well, life sucks. No, it doesn't. You're an idiot.
Well, I'll give a nice shout out to Mike, because I'm going to call him out on this. I don't care. He's always talking about, I can't wait for an asteroid to hit the Earth. I said, why? Oh, because this place sucks. Well, for you.
Yeah, how could
So
it be
why-
so good for me and so bad for you?
So just because you want the ultimate demise of the human race and everything on the living Earth to just be extinguished, I said, why can't just a pebble fall out and hit you in the head and just take you out?
Right.
I'm enjoying my life.
A high-speed pebble, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, is my life the best? No, but I mean, I'm working on it.
It's
But
like a
why
million-
would I want for the human extinction? I said, that's kind of selfish.
All you have to do is look at some of these damn videos that somebody made with like a 10th old generation phone, right? It's like from the early 90s. Maybe it's a flip phone or something. And he's rebuilding an electric motor, and all he doesn't even have any shoes. The guy is somewhere, and there's only sand around him, and he's got a light bulb above him, and he is bending copper wire to rebuild a 240 volt motor that weighs 1,000 pounds. And when he's done, he is so freaking happy, and he plugs it in, and things whirring it's just perfect. Like, I'm thinking, that guy is happy. He's happy as hell, and he's got nothing. He's got nothing. He's got no shoes. He's holding it with his feet, right?
So that's one of those things.
I want to be that happy.
So that's one of those things. I'll give advice. So with you giving life advice overall, my life advice that I can give somebody half my age is being in the military. I don't want to say I pissed away 4 years of my life because I would like to just chalk that up as being in college. The only difference between being in college and the military was I got out debt free, as opposed to college. You do the same drunken debauchery nonsense, but you come out in debt for the rest of your life. My suggestion would be to travel. I mean, there's a lot of places. We got 50 states with a lot of shit to see. And go international, because I really, really did see a whole different world, even going from Hawaii to Japan. I'll never forget on the boat traveling into Japan and just seeing all the Mitsubishi boats. But Japan was a whole different world, and I know you've been there multiple times, but you go to Japan. So I would say in the course of 4 years, I'm 19 years old. I went to Hawaii, which is obviously not international, but it's a long ways away from the U.S. I went to Hawaii. I went to Okinawa and Sasebo, Japan. I went to Jebel Ali in the Persian Gulf. I went to Dubai about 5 times. I went to Singapore 5 times. I went to Australia twice. I went to Fremantle and Perth the first time, Darwin, Australia the second time. I went to Guam. I went to Indonesia.
Wow, I didn't even know that.
And we were supposed to go to the Philippines, but there were some political issues that the Marines caused, and we were not allowed to go to the Philippines. So I went to, well, I would say go to Dubai, go to Singapore. Craziest places you will ever see in your entire life. I mean, it is one of the, in a heartbeat, I want to go back to Singapore. I could probably still kind of navigate my way around there. Hands down, the coolest places ever. And then I went to Calgary, Alberta, in Canada. But the most memorable place I went to was in Indonesia. No idea where it was, but this is 2006. So in Indonesia, with the area that we went to was harboring Al-Qaeda terrorists, because this was during Iraqi freedom, stuff like that. So we had a lot of Al-Qaeda terrorists down there, a lot of training camps, except for the deployment. This time I was on a hospital mission, so we were going to a lot of poverty-stricken towns, villages, whatever you want to call it, and doing a lot of free medical. It's more or less like Doctors Without Borders kind of thing. And we went there, and the biggest culture shock I saw was everybody loved durian. Now, if you don't know what durian is, it kind of looks like a jackfruit. In a sense, the best way I could describe it is a jackfruit if you've never seen it. It's a big old spiky thing. You kind of bust it open, and the durian fruit inside, it's a hard shell, but the durian fruit on the inside, almost like it's like a pierogi. It's really weird. But it smells like a hot dumpster fire in the middle of July. It is the most disgusting thing ever, but the way people describe it is it tastes like custard.
Have you had
hot custard?
Have you had it?
Yes, and I wanted to just die. So
good, die bad.
I just wanted to just kill myself because it was more enjoyable than eating this durian. It's actually banned.
It was good.
No, it was bad.
It was bad.
It was horrible.
Oh.
I mean, why would you eat something that smells like a hot dumpster fire?
Well, I thought you said it smells bad but tastes good.
The people say it tastes good. Those people are mentally insane. Okay. But it was a delicacy. And the point I'm getting at is a lot of these people would bring you durian and go, this is really expensive, it's a delicacy, and I want to give it to you as an offering for helping us. Now, mind you, these people are living in a tree that... pretty much the trees are the foundation for their huts. I mean, it's not even a third world. It's like a fourth or fifth world country. Like, it's so bad, obviously they have no medical because that's why we're here. And I saw that. Now, mind you, this is after I went to Dubai, I went to Singapore, super futuristic. I went to Indonesia, and being a fourth world, fifth world country in 2006, and then coming back to the States and
watching a bunch of these teenage kids crying about, I don't have the newest iPhone. It really did give you
Oh, yeah.
appreciation on
Yeah.
life. So to make a short story long is go travel and actually see the world for what it is, because you really do take a whole new appreciation of what you have. And on your worst day, there's somebody who's in a much worse rut than you are, and you kind of go, it ain't that bad. As long as I got my health and a roof over my head, it ain't that bad.
Well, I used to teach in a high school, and was an all-girls high school. And I might have told you this story, that one day, and I was teaching math or computer class, one of the two. And the classroom I had a gigantic screen, a big screen, and I used to do a lot of projection on it and things. So one day the girls just griping. What's going on now? We're complaining. We're complaining about this. We're complaining about that. I just had it. I said, I have had it with you people, which was not a good thing to say. So, and I of course I meant nothing by it other than that you people in my class, right? So, and I tried to foster a team effort in our class. I said, I've had it. I said, we're stopping the class, and I found this clip of this guy from Australia. He had no arms and he had no legs, had nothing, right? And he comes on the screen, and he is a motivational speaker. And they're rumbling, gumbling. About a minute in, he's got their attention. And then he starts talking about his life. And then he goes, I'm going to show you how I swim and how I do this. And he says, I need help for it. Somebody throw me in a pool? It's like, are you kidding? This is like Bob, right? You know, there's nothing. He's got nothing, right? And he's there and blah, 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 and that sort of thing. And, you know, and he comes out, okay, put me on the stage again. And by the time this 20-minute thing was over, they are absolutely crying. I had to get extra Kleenex out and that sort of thing. I said, I don't want you ever to complain again about anything in your miserable life. I said, don't you ever complain again about anything when you can be in this school and have education and all of the things that you have, however good or bad it is. This guy, he's unbelievable. So, guy has made, I think he's still alive, but he's made the rounds. He's a motivational speaker with no arms and no legs from birth. All right? Just shut up. That's it. Just shut up. Okay, thanks, Mr. Here. All right. You know? So, you're right. And we have educational institutions. And we're told we have to go to school to learn. And we have to have a teacher to teach us. No, you don't.
Best thing to do, I'm gonna hijack this, is figure out what you want to do in life. Mind you, the reason I'm hijacking this is because you were told your whole life, go to college, go to college, go to college. My new thing, trying to do recruitment and aviation, is I'm not saying that you have to be an aircraft mechanic, but you can be a pilot. You could be a flight attendant. You could do this. You could drive trucks. Imagine coming in out of high school, and in 5 years you make over $100,000, and all you got to do was spend a year in school. I don't know how much the school is, $25,000, $30,000, but that's it. Not $30,000, $40,000 a year for a 4-year degree. You invest in a trade school, you come out, and you're making $100,000.
So if you take all the millionaires, let's do the billionaires. Take all the billionaires, and give them a questionnaire. What education did you have? And you will find, much to many surprise, that a lot of those very rich people, let's call it successful people, do not have a complete college education.
Because it's figure out what you want to do first in life and then go to school for it. Don't just think you have to go to school to figure out what you want to do in life, because all you're going to do is end up in debt for the rest of your life. Again, I hate to use Mike and Tim. I think they said they're going to be 55 by the time they're done paying off their college tuition. That's just in time for you to take out another student loan for your children. It's
in Europe and Europe and Germany, I believe it's still in force now. They have a system where, as you go through your educational process, you're in grammar school and junior high school. By junior high school, they pretty much carved a path for you. Okay, you're going to go to college. You're going to do this. You're not going to go to college. You're going to do that. Whatever it might be. It has a lot to do with the fact that they're asking you what you enjoy doing, what excites you, what motivates you. So there, you have a much better chance of getting a job in something that interests you. And keep in mind, life is long, and it's getting longer and longer. You don't have to keep that job. You can change it as time goes on. But at least you're out of the box with something productive. Too many people are 25, 35, 40 years old, and they haven't found themselves yet. That's bullshit. That's enough to find yourself 3 times. I've been through 5 careers. Find yourself now. This is not a thing where we have to spend $250,000 to find yourself. That's bullshit.
What's the rule? And for those who do have a career, I want to say, correct me if I'm wrong. I think they said you have to invest 7 to 10 years before you can actually say, not so much the job, but the career. I'm done. I think they said 7 to. I want to say.
I don't know what that means. 7 to 10 years.
After 7 to 10 years, you can say, I'm done with this career. I did automotive for 10 years. I'm done. I have learned enough. I've done enough. And I said, you know what? I'm done. I've done it. I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah, but you may...
Because if you do it for like 2 years, you'd be like, I don't like it. It's like, but you haven't learned anything. So...
Oh, you're saying you need to be in it for at least
yeah, so you're not going from Joe Blow's garage to Sears Automotive to this. It's just, you're going from job to job. But I said the actual title of a career... For me, I did aviation for 20 plus years. I'm done. I'm burnt out. I don't want to do this shit anymore.
So for me, things stacked. The things that I did before were helpful in getting me to the next level. They were not throwaways at all. In fact, it was because of what I had done, I was able to do other things, thankfully. So growing up as a kid, I did nothing but experiment with stuff. I had no money at all, so I used to go and collect garbage and then figure out how it worked. So by the time I got to college, taking engineering, the other guys were going, well, what is this here? What is that? I said, well, it's a freaking resistor. What do you mean? What is it? He said, well, I don't know how that works. I said, didn't you ever build anything? No, I don't know. Meanwhile, I'm going, all right, can we get to the next thing? Because I know all about this, right? So for me, I loved it. I ate it up. It was not a problem. Then I realized there was an important part of my life where we could make anything you want, okay? I had my dream job. You can make anything you want, but nobody can sell it. I mean, we got a bunch of people over there that have no idea how to sell this stuff or even what to make. We're making stuff that nobody wants, and we have stuff that people want and they can't sell it. So I created a marketing job for myself, but I had to go back to school now, which I'm a big proponent of college for a reason. So I went back, I got a master's degree, and a master's degree enabled me to understand finance and marketing so that I could marry what people wanted to what we could produce. And that was very helpful. I had a really nice career there, and that went on for a while until I got my ass fired. And then I said, okay, well, I've made a lot of friends in college, and I think that's an environment I'd like to be in. Maybe I had a lucky shot at teaching quickly at a college locally. So I said, yeah, I like this a lot. I'm going to do this because I'm a presenter anyway all my life. And then I got a job in high school, so in education for 30 years. So the point is, everything I've done literally helped the next level. Had I not had the advanced degree, I would not have been able to teach at college. Okay, I didn't know that going in. I would have never suspected it. But each of these things presented themselves as an opportunity, and I think I took it, and I'm very lucky. Not that there weren't some crappy things in between.
So as we kind of wrap this whole thing up with advice, you kind of brought up a good point, and my question to you, and I mean, I can kind of say it first, but somebody who's starting new, I'm leaving high school, I'm leaving college. What is, and honestly, you're probably going to be a lot better at this than me. I kind of faked it till I made it kind of thing, but somebody leaving high school, leaving college, you got a degree. You don't know what you're going to do with it because it's you were lied to go to school. You're leaving high school. You have no idea what you're going to do with your life. You want to find a job. You want to do something. You went back to school. You know what you want to do, but you don't know how to actually obtain it. You got the degree in it, but you want to obtain a job. How does one market themselves for the... How does one market themselves? How does one sell themselves to the job market to obtain full potential in what they can do?
You can't. You can't do that. It doesn't work that way.
So the joke was always, well, go get experience. Well, how can I get experience if you won't hire me?
Yeah, it doesn't work that way. So what you really need to do is it's very simple. It's very simple. You need to understand what it is you want to be doing. Or if there's an opportunity that seems like what you want to do, you take it. You just do it. You do the best you can, because it doesn't matter that you work for a company. You work for yourself. Okay? Everything you do is for you. Everything you do is to increase your value as a human being, and mostly as a problem solver. Nobody hires somebody because they have a degree. Nobody hires somebody because they're sweet, cute, and not, well, that's not true. Sometimes they do. But nobody gets hired for any other reason other than they can solve the problem at hand. Okay? I need somebody to program this equipment, and I don't know anything about it, but I need somebody to do it. Can you do it? Sure, I can do it. Are you sure? Well, yeah, I've done it before. I'm not really good at it, but I'm going to jump in and bust my ass and spend extra time on my own, and I'll become the expert in a month. Okay, so you're going to solve my problem? Yes. All right, let's do it. And usually it works out. If it doesn't work out, you move on to the next thing. No big deal. I mean, you jump in, you do it. I mean, every job I've ever gotten involved with, it was a problem. Okay, I was always afraid. I remember with the college thing, I said, I am really not very good at Microsoft products. I'm okay, I can use them, but I would really like to be an expert. So it occurred to me, the only way I'm going to be an expert is I'm not staying home practicing. I'm going to teach it. Now, here's a guy who is not an expert teaching something to people who don't know it. So guess what I had to do? I had to become really good at it. So I had to spend a lot of time on those Microsoft products so that I could teach others how to do it. So I became pretty good at doing it. Well, there's one way of approaching things. Never take something you can do. Take something that you want to do. Maybe you know a little bit about it, but you want to get really good at it. Okay, good. It's like playing tennis with somebody worse than you. That's the worst thing you can do. Play tennis with somebody much better than you so that you can reach that next level. How do you market yourself? You got to start to know people. You've got to know the industry. You've got to make friends. It always comes at a time you never expect, right? Somebody knows that you know somebody else, and they say, why don't you give so-and-so a call and see if they're interested. That's usually the way it happens. Answering ads and such, it usually is. It's not as frequent, especially today when everybody's bullshitting about themselves and their resumes, and it all goes through an AI evaluator. So, knowing people and networking, that's the way you get to know people. And referrals, yeah. Can I tell you somebody used my services or knows me or reference? Those are the ways you get your job, in my opinion. That's the way it's worked.
All right. So as we wrap this up, do you have anything else, other life advice? Any sort
This is
of
copyrighted material.
Any sort of cultural
April
significance that you would like to reflect on?
Be the best you can be. Don't give up. Be positive. That's all you really need to do. Be honest. Be authentic. Don't be a phony. We don't need any more of those.
No, I said being a phony. I mean, I've learned through my many years of my careers is you could fake it, but I want to say average after about 2-3 weeks, you start slipping and the real self comes out. Just be your real self. Unfortunately for me, I got into a lot of trouble being my real self, but people also came to kind of respect it because they said, I'd much rather have someone who's honest than somebody who lies to me.
Always be honest. Don't lie. And we have rules about being nice. That's not lying. Nice and polite and that sort of thing. Okay. And those have appropriate times to be used, and you should use those. So There was one more thing that came up. Oh shoot, I forgot. What was the question? Any other thing?
Life advice or cultural significance or any sort of reflection.
Yeah, just be yourself. Be honest. There's a lot. So one of the nuns told me something that I still struggle with, and she said, "You should claim your rewards in life." I said, well, "What does that mean, sister?" She said, "Well, there are a lot of things out there that have your name on them, and most people don't bother going after it. They don't think they can get it. But the good Lord has provided us with a lot of opportunities and a lot of things. You claim it. Go for it. Maybe it's absurd. Maybe it's insane. Go for it. You know? You'll know. You'll know when you have the opportunity and say, well, no, I don't think I should do that. I don't know. Don't be meek, even though they have inherit the earth."
Well, the one thing I've learned is I was shy the first half of my life. The second half of my life, I was more outright.
Obnoxious.
I was more outspoken.
Time to get in the middle.
And I kind of went from one extreme to another, and a lot of people didn't like it, but I actually got a lot more achieved by being more outspoken. I was never the kid to put my hand up in the class. Said, "Anybody have any questions?" And now I'm just like, you know what? Whatever. I raised my hand. Yeah, I got a question. All of a sudden, it's something that's taken me 40 years to learn. You asked a question, everybody else starts going, "Yeah, I want to know that too."
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be intimidating in the beginning, but now I'm just like, whatever. What are you going to do? Yell at me?
But if you're honest and authentic, you know, maybe they'll make fun of you, but so what? There'll always be all those other people that say, "I'm glad he's asking it because I don't want to do that." You know?
Well, 8 times out of 10, people, it started a whole new conversation that nobody was willing to talk about until somebody actually brought it up.
We have a lot of that in our society. We can't talk about those things.
So just ask. Make sure it's antiquated into a good question that actually has or validates a response. Don't just go, "Why is this company so stupid?" You just ask, like, "Hey, listen, I've been noticing because of this, and..." Even when I was going for a management position, it was something. Well, it's not asking questions; it's more justifying. I could say you could justify your question, or just the way you phrase it is. When I was going for a management position, they gave me a window of this much to this much. This is your pay salary. It's going to be between this and this. And during the interview question, I asked, "Well, what are you looking to get paid?" Now, obviously, any person would go, "I want the highest." Well, yeah, of course you're going to ask for the highest, but it doesn't mean you're going to get it. However, the way I try to formulate my statement as someone should formulate a question is, from my experience, I have done this, and this. From my experience, I have witnessed this, and this. So therefore, witnessing, this is why I have my question, as opposed to, or much like, I have accomplished and I have done this, and this. So therefore, because of everything I have done, I feel like I deserve top pay. Just like your question. I have witnessed this, and this. So therefore, my formulated question is, why is this happening? Or is there any sort of significant change that we can do, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. And you get a lot more of a response. And even if it's not the best question, by you stating all these statements, you have something to stand behind, and then other people can also take that question and go, "He said that statement. Oh, you know what? I actually experienced that. Now I have a question." And that guy goes,
It's an unfair question to ever ask how much you should make. Okay? It's an unfair question. Because first of all, you should go into the job knowing the range. There should be a range. Okay? I mean, why are you at the interview if they're paying $20,000 a year and you're making 90 now? Why are you even there? Nobody's going for that one. But you should never answer it directly. You should always say, "I want to be the best at solving your problem, and I would expect to get the best pay for that. And you know my salary history, and I want to do much better than that." Now, that should answer your question. I'm not giving you a number, because as soon as I give you a number, you're going to nail me to it. All right? It's like It's like Rick Harrison. Well, how much do you want for it? What shit? You've just lost the battle. How much you want for it? Oh, $100 million. Well, that ain't going to happen. How about half of that? Okay, I'll take, 50 million. That's stupid. So you got to be clever about that sort of thing.
So, all right, well, I'm going to wrap this up real quick because this is actually more of a lengthy. I may have to actually put this into a two-parter, but I do appreciate you coming out once more and hanging out with us. And like I said, this is a discussion that I've wanted to have for many, I guess at this point we've been doing it for many years, but it was something I actually wanted to just kind of talk about the cultural significance because it's just like everything else. Not everybody's here, so, unfortunately, you drown in the fountain of youth. You're not living forever. So I wanted to just kind of get your input on how life was then versus now and the in-between.
I'm looking forward to new things forward. I just don't know what they are at the moment. They'll appear, and I'll take advantage of them.
So, well, thank you again, and thank you for tuning in for this week's episode. If you like what we're doing, hit that like, subscribe, the usual drill. Let us know how we're doing, and we'll be back with another exciting episode. And like I mentioned, probably just divvy this up in two parts. Probably do one Saturday, do one Sunday. I really haven't figured this one out yet, but tune in, and we'll hopefully have a new exciting episode for next time. Thank you so much, and we'll see you all later.